3 years ago, I was absolutely broke. I had no connections, I had no business background. I just dropped out of university. I was honestly 25,000 euros in debt while trying to get, this agency up and running, and everything just seemed to be going wrong. Now today, that same agency does 74,000 euros per month. I am the proof that anybody can actually do this, even if they're from Scandinavia and we have, Jantelon, and we're supposed to just get good in school, academics, get a bachelor's and a master's, and then go work for somebody else. So for context, my agency is an email marketing agency named Marketing. Right now we're working with brands all over, Scandinavia, Europe, USA, and basically all over the world. And I do all of this just from my computer, and I have very few team members and very high profit margin, and I'm loving my life. But I will also say, none of that happened overnight. It took me 3 years to actually get here. So back in 2022, when I first launched Marketing, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, all right? If you scroll the years back 5 years, I was 19. I graduated as a 19-year-old from, high school or gymnasium. And back then I thought I was going to be a school teacher or actually a journalist, like covering football and sports and so on. I had like 2 roads to choose from, right? But when I left school, my grades were absolutely shit. I think in Denmark it was like 4.9, maybe 5.2. You can't do shit with those grades. You can maybe go to a smaller marketing degree. I didn't have a future really. That is the Scandinavian way of doing a bachelor's, a master's, and then going to the job market, right? And also I knew from a very young age that I wanted to have financial freedom, but I also wanted to have time freedom and location freedom, live life on my terms. And when I looked after all the opportunities that came after high school, I realized I can't do this unless I do something for myself. So I tried a shit ton of online business models and whatnot. I've tried every single business model there is, and I've sold so many different offers. If it's email marketing as it is now, I've sold Google ads, I've sold Meta ads, I've sold UGC, I've sold content. And the fact I tried so many different things is what actually kept me stuck in the loop of the, shiny object syndrome. That is actually when I started to say, maybe this isn't just meant for me. Let me go take a degree, go into a job, and then do it the normal way, right? But here's the thing. I just knew, like deep down, I can't live like a normal way. It's impossible for me to live, the 9-to-5 job. So when I enrolled in university in 2021, I've had, 17 jobs in the last 5 years of all my sabbaticals. I tried all these online business model and whatnot, and I've lost so much money and I went into debt. I was 25,000 euros in debt at some point, but I enrolled into university. I was there for 3 months, but it was actually in the first 2 or maybe the first 4 weeks that I was like, if I have to go do this, study for 3 years, that means that I could launch a business. I don't want to go to school. Like, what the fuck is this? I'm not good in school. So I actually ended up dropping out fairly quickly. And that's when I actually said, I don't have a job. I don't get like SU. I don't get paid to study as we do in Scandinavia. That's when I was like, all right, let me do this for real this fucking time. I will join a coaching program, which is what I did. I will launch the fucking business and I will just show up every single day, set up my office, call people, knock on doors, get some clients, and just get 1% better every single day. And that sounded really simple and really easy, right? Thing is that it took me 3 years to actually be in the business, which is the similarity of a bachelor's degree, right? So it took me 3 years of being a complete idiot to actually do all of the wrongs, do all the failures, and it didn't really move me. And I was just being a glorified freelancer because when I look back at it, I just built myself a job and really not a business as I wanted to, because I was working 80 hours per week. I didn't cash out, that much. And I kept investing thinking that this will move the needle. This will always do something else. It all came down to me doing the work. And that's where everything actually changed, because I've been trying, as I mentioned, a lot of different shit, right? But the moment I sat down, I was like, okay, I don't want to get a job. I don't want to, have a business where I just build a job for myself. And that's where I was like, okay, AI is pushing the weight really, really quickly. What can I use AI to do in my business so I don't have to hire as many people and I don't have to do as much work or client work? And that's where it completely shifted. In the beginning of 2025, me and my partner Paco, we just implemented AI into every single little thing that we could do. And that's where this AI-powered agency model actually comes from. So all of last last year in 2025. We did everything in our business, everything that was possible, and it had great quality behind it with the use of AI. It just, exploded. Higher profit margins, less team members, less communications, less work, and we actually signed more clients and we got so much more revenue through the door, and our profit margin is sky high. But the biggest lesson learned from all of this is that it all comes down to yourself, what is in your head, your mind, your heart, and your soul. Because if you can control that, and if you can just show up and get better 1% each and every single day, trust me, you will get there. But if you don't know how to do that, obviously that's why you need help. That's why you go to school, that's why you have teachers, that's why you have parents, that's why you have coaches to guide you through the way. That's what I did. If you want to do it on your own, it will just take way longer than it actually needs to. Don't be like me, don't spend 3 years. It doesn't matter if you join my coaching program or another coaching program, just don't waste 3 years of your life, because you might as well have just done it in 1 year, and that's what I wish I had done. So if you take one thing away from this video, please let it be that. But my story alone isn't enough to go and help you build your business for yourself or start it or scale it up, right? Because knowing what happened is very different from understanding why it worked and how to apply it to yourself. So if you want to go deeper and actually learn from something, go into the description. This is where I've put all of my free guides, my softwares, my AIs, my tools, software stacks, and I also made a free course that you can start with. It is totally free. You just have to join the school and watch the videos. So if you want to see why most agencies actually stay stuck and what actually needs to change in order to scale, you have to watch this video where I break down every single little thing step by step, and I'll see you there. Peace.